Today I'm talking about agency. I'm talking about our ability to manage some things that we sometimes forget are actually in our control. We start to think that we're at the mercy of some things that we can't, and so we don't bother trying to change things. We'll think that's immovable. Now, I'm going to talk about the model. The model is how we think, how we feel, how we act, and the results we create in our lives. And we're going on the premise that no one actually controls this except for us. Now, in our culture, we're kind of conditioned to believe that circumstances create our thoughts. That if this happens, I automatically will feel this way. If my spouse says this, I have no choice but to feel this or to think this. If we believe that we're bad at something, that's a fact. If we believe that something is hard, that's a fact. As if we're just reporting the news and not recognizing, actually, that's a thought. That's under my realm of control. So imagine if someone were to come to you and say, gosh, it is so hot in my house. And you'd be like, is your air conditioner broken? And you're like, well, it's just really hot outside. So of course it's going to be hot in my house. But you're like, have you turned on your air conditioner? Well, no, the sun outside is what makes it hot in my house. Sometimes we forget that we have this sort of internal thing that we can control our climate inside of us. And just imagine what it would sound like if someone has a perfectly working HVAC system. So they have this air conditioner, they have this heater inside their home, but they don't know that they can turn it on and they can use it. And so however they feel inside their home, they will believe is completely up to the weather. So if someone says, well, what temperature is it going to be in your house on Tuesday? You'll be like, I don't know, I'll have to check the weather and see. Okay? If someone were to ask me that, I would tell them 74 degrees. That's what I love the temperature to be in my home, 74 degrees. What temperature is it going to be in my car? 74 degrees. That's like my sweet spot. We will start to believe that we can only feel a certain temperature inside of us, a certain emotion, have a certain thought, if the conditions are right outside of us, and that's just not true. We'll start to think that our kids are why we feel upset, the way our kids are acting, the way our spouse is acting, the way our boss is, all of these things we will believe are making us feel frustrated, incompetent, confused. All of these things are actually in our control. But if we don't see it, if we don't see our model, we will continue to believe that it's completely outside of us, and we won't put our efforts into looking at the air conditioner, figuring out how to work it, turning it on, plugging it in. We'll be like, it doesn't matter, it's hot outside. What good is this? What good is this unit? It's just sitting there doing nothing. Right? So here's what we do. When we actually look at how we are creating the results in our lives, when we say, you know what, my child is acting this way, but this is how I want to feel, that is us taking control, because we actually are realizing, wait a second, it's not my child, it's me. It's what I'm doing that's creating this feeling inside. It's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that this is the worst thing in the world my kid could do, instead of thinking this may be the best thing ever for them. I get to be here to support them. This is my chance to teach them how to fill in the blanks, accept people no matter what they do, be able to love people even though they make mistakes, all of the things. So if we want to feel confident and capable as a parent, we do not want to give the responsibility to feel that to our kids. They can't control it. That's our internal climate. If we want to have a good relationship with someone, which is how we see ourselves in relation to someone else, we want to manage our thoughts, not leave it up to the person who may be going through whatever in their life at the moment and then blaming us for it. Because they're pretty sure we're the weather and we're the one making their house hot. Right? There are so many things that we can do as long as we're able to be aware. Now, when we're trying to gain awareness, the most important thing is not to judge. If we start to judge ourselves for the thoughts that we realize we're creating, then we lose awareness because our brain is like, don't judge me. I'm going to hide it. So, as you go ahead and try to create something different in your relationship with your child, in your marriage, at work, have a different experience in your life with your goals, all of the things. This applies to everything: losing weight, making more money, feeling more abundant. Do not wait for the money to come in before you feel abundant. Feel abundant first. Set your internal climate to abundance, and you will open yourself up to receive more in your life. It's amazing how it happens. Sometimes it's really challenging to see what is outside the house and what is in. What is a circumstance or a fact that you don't control, and what is a thought that you do? If you're having that issue and you have something you want to change in your life, please call me. I am so good at spotting when your button is on the thermostat and when you're out there trying to fan the sun. Make it stop shining so hot. Just a little side note. There are some times where it's hotter outside and our air conditioner needs to work just a little bit harder to maintain the climate that we hope for. Sometimes it's a little colder and the heater needs to run a little longer. There are going to be situations and circumstances that push us. We will need to work a little bit harder to maintain that internal climate, but it doesn't mean anything's gone wrong. It just means that you just have a little bit of extra work to do, and it's totally fine. You still have control. If you need help, please reach out to me.